The regular scheduled council meeting for November 10th. Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Fury?
Here.
Mr. McDermott?
Here.
Mrs. Stauffer? Here. Mr. Roden?
Here.
Mr. Ceresi?
Here.
Mr. Scafidi?
Here.
Mr. Yates?
Here.
At this time, can we stand for the invocation and pledge led by Mr. Scafidi?
We meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and to the future, and the rights and needs of both individuals and community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and on our efforts here today. May we act wisely and well.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any changes or amendments to the minutes submitted for the October 27th meeting? Hearing none, the minutes stand as submitted. Do we have any awards or presentations this evening, Mayor?
No, we do not.
Thank you. Shannon, do we have anybody for audience participation?
There is none.
Okay. Next, we'll go to council communications and committee reports. Mrs. Stauffer?
Good evening. We had a meeting on November 5th. The ARB had a meeting, and there were a few items on the agenda. Excuse me. 3132 Killingworth Lane. There's a pergola on the deck that they will be adding. It was approved as noted. 2496. There was, pardon me, that was no show. 10363 Hanford Lane is replacing aluminum siding on the front elevation of a single-family dwelling with brick, and that was approved as noted. 10345 Fox Hollow Circle, a new single-family dwelling by Ryan Holmes was approved as submitted. 9076 Church Street, non-illuminated wall sign was approved for Easy Sign for Seth and Sasha. It's I think a consignment boutique in town. 8794 Independence Parkway. It is not a non-illuminated wall sign was also approved. There was another new single-family dwelling by Koblenz Home at 9903 Shepherd Road was approved as noted, contingent on an appropriate certificate of appropriateness for demolition of an existing structure at that same location. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Ceresi?
Thank you. The Finance Committee met earlier this evening, and we went over the 2016 projected budget and voted as a committee on our recommendations that will be coming to council next. And the Twins Day Committee met last week. They're in the process of working on a theme for the 2016 festival. And the Safety Committee meets next week, November 17th, here at 6:30 p.m. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Roden?
I have nothing to report tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., I will be attending the Twinsburg Chamber board meeting at the library. The next Planning Commission meeting will be November 16th. On the agenda will be a lighting plans for Fox Hollow subdivision as well as Boulder Brook subdivision, and plans for Dunkin' Donuts on 82. Mr. Scafidi be the largest investor for that project that I'm aware of. Also, from our last Planning Commission meeting, there was a final approval for the clubhouse, and I need to make a motion to put that in effect, but we had a meeting with the staff tonight and discussed amending one of the conditions. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion that we amend the Planning Commission's recommendation and eliminate the east driveway curb cut to be access controlled with a gate entry. Is there a second? No second. Mr. McDermott seconds. Discussion.
So, in essence, what you're saying is that they wanted to eliminate that driveway.
I'm saying, I just made a motion to eliminate that condition.
To eliminate the condition, to eliminate the driveway.
I believe I said eliminate the condition.
Okay.
Did I not?
I thought you said eliminate the driveway, but that's, eliminate
okay.
the condition is
Let me
right.
rephrase.
The condition was a gate.
The gate.
Controlled access.
Okay.
I'd like to clarify that my motion should be to eliminate the condition of having a controlled gate at the east driveway curb cut. Okay?
Very good.
All right, so Mr. McDermott still seconds. Is there any further discussion? And the reason that the city would like to make that change is that that is an access point for the banquets, as well as a significant access point for the service vehicles to come in with the turning radius. And if it was gated, it would be a significant inconvenience for the staff, as well as the people that are delivering goods to that site. So, is there any other discussion? All right. Shane, would you call the roll on removing that condition?
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Okay, so the condition is removed unanimously. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion that council accepts the final site plan for Glen Eagles Golf Course, which was approved unanimously by the Planning Commission with the following conditions: approval of a stormwater management program by engineering, approval of a site lighting plan by the city planner, and a revised landscaping plan to add some evergreens for better screening of the trash dumpsters. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Scafidi seconds. Is there any discussion? Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Okay, and again, the next Planning Commission meeting is Monday, the 16th. On November 19th, there'll be a Twinsburg Community Improvement Corporation meeting at 7:30 a.m. at the old Twinsburg Hall. This Thursday, I'll be attending a Northeast Ohio City Council Association meeting, and it's going to be an overview of the convention that's coming to town and how we might be able to capitalize on things in conjunction with Twinsburg. Also, this Friday, I'll be attending a planning and zoning workshop with the with planning ethics, economic development tools for local government, and planning in landlocked subdivisions would be the topics. Tomorrow's Veterans Day. We would like to thank the veterans in the community for our service, but today is the 240th anniversary birthday of the United States Marines. And I would like to make sure that we think about Jim Susnick, who's a Twinsburg resident, who was a Marine fighter pilot. Mike Gardina, who's done 3 tours. He's gone to Iraq once, he's gone to Afghanistan twice, and Post Commander Joe Giussani and his son are both Marine Corps veterans. So, hoorah, and Semper Fi. And that's all I have. Mr. McDermott.
I have no report this evening.
Mr. Yates.
Yes, thank you. The Finance Committee did meet this evening, and we discussed just finalizing the proposals from and the request from our Capital Improvement Board. So we went through in detail those items, and then also I just want to wish thank the veterans. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, so I just appreciate all their service, and that's all I have.
Mr. Scafidi.
Thank you. Good evening. The Board of Zoning Appeals met on October 28th. They had appeal number 9, 2015, which was specifically a Nantucket Cove resident was looking for a 33-foot rear yard setback, a variance. The board listened to the appeal and voted 5-0 to grant that appeal. So at this time, I would like to make a motion to waive the 30-day waiting period. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Sorese, second. Anybody have any questions? Call the roll, please, Shannon.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
I too would also like to thank our veterans, as tomorrow's Veterans Day. And also, finally, I would just like to congratulate Mr. Fury on his reelection. I'd like to congratulate Joanne McFerrin on her election and Brian Steele on his election. I'm looking forward to working with the entire council and these three people again in the next 4 years. And also Mr. Yates on your election to mayor-elect. Look forward to working with you as our new mayor. And thank you to all the residents of Ward 1 in trusting me with to represent you for the next 4 years. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Mayor Prokop.
Thank you, Mr. Fury, and good evening, council. Good evening, residents. For a second there, I felt like I was living in the twilight zone without anybody mentioning the election, the big news that occurred just a week ago. So thank you to all the residents for coming out and voting. It was a very important election for our city, and just very, very happy that so many residents came out and cast your ballot. And of course, I would like to certainly congratulate our mayor-elect, Ted Yates. Congratulations, Ted. I know that you're going to do a fine job, and I'm very proud of your success and that you will be the next mayor of the city of Twinsburg. So congratulations to you. I would like to thank Sam Scafidi and congratulate him in Ward 1 and Bill Fury at large. And also I would like to welcome our newly elected council members, Joanne McFerrin and Brian Steele. So congratulations to all of you. And I know that it's going to be an energetic, vibrant council and that Ted is going to lead them into the future as you always said you would do. So congratulations to everybody, and look forward to being one of the residents out there watching what happens. We have some really good news. We'll move on to that. As you know, we've had some requests for sound walls up in Heritage Hills. That request has been out there for 20 or 25 years, and finally ODOT has agreed to install some sound walls along I-480. And we got the news a while back. We were happy that at least they were doing something, but the only area they were going to do was from Gettysburg up to Lawnfield. Well, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth, so we thanked them, but Amy and I met with them and also talked about some other areas that needed to be done. And we were successful in getting them to extend the areas of where they're going to be putting the sound walls on I-480. So the one area will go all the way from Gettysburg up to Concord and Greenway. So this is a large extension of the original sound wall that they were talking about doing. And the second part is they're going to be doing the area of 480 right behind White Oak Drive. So we're just delighted that this will be paid for by ODOT, and that after all of these years, we're getting this noise mitigation project underway, and we will get it done. So thank you to ODOT for being so receptive, and thank you to Amy. I know that she continued to hound dog them on the project, but we finally got some great success with that one. Also, just a couple announcements. We have a community Thanksgiving dinner that will be Tuesday, November 24th from 5 to 7. It's going to be at the Twinsburg Community Center. Donations and volunteer work is always appreciated, so if you're interested in helping out, this is provided by the Friends of the Community, and we have a telephone number that you can call to either volunteer or to donate. And again, that is open to everybody, no reservation required. Free community dinner on Tuesday, November 24th. This Saturday, there's a really nice program coming up. Ted Yates and I were invited over to, I think it was at Dodge Middle School that we went to?
Yes.
We were at Dodge Middle School, and this is in conjunction with some of the ministerial services here in the city of Twinsburg, with the schools, the Emergency Assistance Center, and Twinsburg Township and the Village of Reminderville. They're inviting all dads to a Dad's Huddle, and this is on Saturday, November 14th, 9 to 11 o'clock. This is information for dads on being role models and leaders in their community, in their families. It should be a really, really nice program, and I would like to thank Kathy Powers and the schools for undertaking this project and being part of it. So if you're interested, well, the RSVP was today, but I bet they'd be happy to have you sign up even if it's a little bit late. But again, this is Saturday, November 14th, 9 to 11. All dads are welcome. It's called a Dad's Huddle. Some upcoming events at the Senior Center. The first one's our Thanksgiving feast. That will be November 20th at 6 p.m. And again, we're always looking for donations and or volunteers to help pull off that dinner for our seniors. And November 20th, 6 p.m. Their annual holiday party will be on December 18th at 12 p.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn. The show choir is going to be performing for the seniors. It's always a wonderful event. So if you're interested in attending, you have to be 55 or older, but if you're interested in attending, you can call the Senior Center and get your tickets, and we'll be happy to accommodate that. Also, Luminosity, the big community lighting ceremony. Last year was the first year. It's going to be on November 28th. That's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's going to be, again, a great party and lots of fun. We have fine-tuned it. The first time we did it, of course, you always find out what you need to do a little bit better. So this year it will even be bigger and better than it was last year. So November 28th, Luminosity, bring your family, your friends, your kids, and come out and have a really good time. That's all the report that I have this evening. But, of course, happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans. Thank you for serving. We really have so much to thank you all for. I'll get into that a little bit more under miscellaneous this evening, but I didn't want to end without thanking them. And we can now move into our finance report. Karen House.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to report that we have received our monthly advance for the month of November from Regional Income Tax Agency. And as of to date, again, this is just an advancement to our income tax collection, is 11.43% down for the month. And for the year-to-date figure, we're 17.13% down, which equates to $3,630,664. Again, you'll have a full report on the total collections for the month of November when we get our second advance, and that'll be sometime after the 12th. Also, for the month end, I know everyone have received their financial statements for the month of October, and we ended that balance, I believe, at the $20 million for the month of October. So again, you'll be able to see a difference coming in November as far as what we've collected for the month of November. I'm happy to announce that the 2014 audit is complete and has been posted by the Ohio State Auditor Dave Yoist's office. So it is accessible on the Finance Department's website, as well as you can also access that information on the Auditor State's website as well. So I hope everyone had a chance to, look at it. It was a very good report, very good, clean report, and I would like to thank all of the department heads being a part of that good report. So in my finance department, and that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Karen. Chief Noga.
Okay.
Good evening. During the month of October, the City of Twinsburg Communications Center generated 2,195 calls for service among the Twinsburg Police and Fire Departments and the Reminderville Police and Fire Departments. The total call count for the year is 23,153. Twinsburg police officers arrested and or cited 131 suspects into court on 194 different counts. Twinsburg officers issued 118 written warnings and 11 parking citations. And officers investigated 44 traffic crashes, of which 8 were injury crashes, 12 were on private property, and none were fatal. One thing I'd like to mention tonight, if you look very carefully, you can see that this is not the Chris Campbell look, although it looks good on Chris. Members of the police department are participating in the Movember movement. This is a movement that began in Australia in 2003 and has become a global, basically a global phenomenon. It's a spotlight on men's health issues, including cancer, mental health, and physical inactivity. Since 2003, the Movember movement has raised over $649 million and has funded over 830 men's health projects. I was approached last year by officers in the department to do this, and we kind of put it on the side for this year. And I agreed under a couple of conditions. One was that if we were going to do this, we were going to raise some money. So what officers who wanted to grow a goatee, and this is what we limited to, was just this little scruff of hair on our chins here, $1 a day for each day you worked in order to participate. For patrol, because of the shifts they work, that comes out to $14. I can safely say, though, that we've raised over $500 already for this cause. Many of us have been, touched in some way due to some cancer, men's cancer. I lost a brother-in-law 12 years ago to esophageal cancer. And, of course, we lost our colleague, Jack Williams, recently to cancer as well. So it has a lot of meaning to us. If you are interested in making a donation to what we're doing, please contact Officer Mike Krejci down in the police department, and he will be happy to take your donations. And we can look forward, hopefully, some photos of our officers and other participants over the next couple of weeks to see who can grow the coolest looking goatee. So no one will be as good as you, though, Chris. So that's all I have tonight.
Chief, I'd also like to thank the Twinsburg Police Association. They just had their Villa Cruiser event.
Yes, and it was very successful. We had way more groceries this year than we did last year. So it's, again, our officers are out in presence in the community, just not as police officers, but community outreach as well. And I'm very proud of the work they do with the Police Association. So
We are too. Our thanks to them. Thank you. Chief Morgan?
Good evening. In the month of October, the fire department responded to 197 calls for service. That brings the total for the year up to 2,046, which is on a pace 13% ahead of where we were last year at this time. Just a couple notable events. On October 21st, on a 24-hour shift, the crew ran 17 calls. That's way out of line of our average 6 to 7. So they were a busy day that day. Among those calls was a call out to I-480 at about 3:30 in the morning to assist a private ambulance crew who was transporting a patient from Robinson Hospital to Ahuja, and the patient went into cardiac arrest. Our crew went out and helped them with patient care, employed one of our Lucas devices, and assisted them with completing the transport up to Ahuja. Just not a normal event for us, but happy that we could help out. In fire prevention, we completed 119 fire inspections through the course of the month. That's out of 1,388 sites in the city and the township. We also had 7 fire education sessions through the course of the month as well. There were 4 fire investigations that were opened through the course of the month and also closed. And we completed 74 different training sessions, totaling over 400 hours in training this month. A couple of points of interest. On November 7th, for our weather warning siren test, it failed. And unfortunately, it traced back to improper programming of our new dispatching equipment. The vendor is supposed to be out tomorrow to remedy the situation, and as soon as we are able, we are going to rerun a test of the system, and we'll try to get some advanced warning out to residents and the schools prior to doing that, but hopefully it'll be during the day tomorrow. The fire department is pleased to announce that we'll be hosting Parks and Recreation's Breakfast with Santa again this year. That'll be on December 12th. You can find details about that at the Parks and Recreation webpage. And the fire department is also pleased to announce we'll be doing the Santa Run again this year, and that'll happen on December 13th. And information about that event can be found on the fire department's Facebook page. That's my report for this evening.
Excellent. We look forward to that. Thank you, Chief. Chris Campbell, Public Works.
Good evening, Council. The Service Department began leaf removal operations on Monday, October 19th. They've been through the city on 2 complete rounds, and that included 1,250 yards of material collected from 1,559 stops, and that represents a participation of about 10.5% of our whole households. They're currently in their 3rd round, and those numbers are up significantly. So the crews are working into the evenings. They're actually going to work tomorrow, and they are working part of the weekends also. This is the obviously the heavy part of the season, and so they're pulling out all the stops and working a lot of hours to keep up with that program. Storm area checks, we've completed our 10th round, and happy to report we've had no significant blockage or problems in the storm areas. Tree removal, we work with the engineering department to remove trees that need to be replaced. They're up over 160 trees removed, and I think the list, when completed, will be around 300 trees. So they're moving through the city, getting those trees taken out. Sewer line maintenance, we're continuing a sewer line cleaning, and we'll do so until either we get very cold weather or significant snowfall. But the sewer maintenance crew is doing a great job keeping those sewer lines open and flowing. Roadway crack sealing, we've had a pretty good weather, and the crew is working through Heritage Hills. They've got about 75% of the program done for the year, and if we can capture maybe one more good week weather-wise, we ought to be able to finish up that program. We are working through some of the parks, building maintenance up at Glen Meadow Park. They re-sided and put some new doors on the maintenance building there. And at Liberty Park, the small utility building, they sided that and did some trim work. So those buildings are looking good. Next year we'll continue on through the parks, trying to beautify the parks a little bit and get those facilities up to a high standard. So we're working through that. And we are finalizing the plans for the ADA ramp out here at the City Hall entrance, and I hope to go out to bid for that project later this year. So, and that is my report.
Thank you, Chris. Busy season coming up.
Very busy.
Thank you. Larry Finch, Community Planning.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. The City of Twinsburg has an opportunity to make application to the U.S. EPA Brownfields Cleanup Program for asbestos mitigation at the old school. The EPA Brownfields Cleanup Program will provide up to $200,000 of funds to put towards mitigation of asbestos issues. It requires a 20% local match. So roughly that's, if we were to go for the full amount, $40,000. And the application is due in December. It's a significant application. We've already begun prepping it. And there are a couple of things that will be required if we are to go forward with the application. The application process requires a significant public involvement component. That public involvement component includes a public meeting or public hearing, and I'm requesting tonight that we have a public meeting or public hearing prior to the next council meeting for the purpose of discussing this brownfields application and the issues associated with it. One of the requirements for the application itself is an alternatives brownfield cleanup analysis draft. Basically, the alternative brownfield cleanup analysis is a overview of the of alternates of either eliminating all the asbestos in the building for like a demolition project, eliminating just the asbestos in the building for a renovation project, or taking no action and leaving the property in its current condition without any asbestos removal.
How much time will you need for the presentation and a public hearing?
Well, I would suggest probably half an hour.
So why don't we schedule that for 6:30 prior to the caucus meeting?
That would be perfect.
I thought we already
We have
had
a public hearing already.
on that date.
We have one scheduled for
Yeah, we already had one.
11:48.
We have one for the material standards on the 24th.
That's not going to be nearly as involved as.
I think that
Yeah.
would probably be a very short.
Very
Right,
brief.
but that's a quick one. So we could have that public hearing, at 7. Again, I don't think on the materials meeting, I don't think there's going to be that much controversy on that. What are your thoughts?
I would agree.
So we'll have one at 6:30, and we'll have one at 7, caucus to follow, and then we'll get through it.
Sounds fine. Along the same line, it will require a resolution of support indicating financial commitment on the part of the city. We can discuss that at that meeting. It also it encourages us to do cooperative stuff with other people like the CIC, with the chamber, with the school district. So I'll be soliciting letters of support from each of those entities to help get our application ranked more favorably. This is a national competition, so there's a limited amount of money available and a lot of people looking for it.
Excuse me, Mr. Finch. Shannon, is there a conflict with those times that we gave you? Because you look concerned.
I just had a question whether, does the 30 days apply? Does it have to be, traditionally, public hearings 30 days prior notice?
I think this is a programmatic thing related to the grant. It doesn't
Right.
require
Yeah,
30
it's not
days.
This is a
It's not a
grant,
public
that's my
hearing.
requirement rather than a.
We authorized you to apply for this grant at the last council meeting, so we've already started this process.
Okay, that was my only
Well, good
concern.
point, but this is just a requirement of the grant.
Right. Okay, well, we can talk more about that at the public hearing, and I'll leave the rest of the details for that particular time. Just an announcement, the FedEx final walkthrough by the building department prior to the certificate of occupancy will happen this Thursday. If everything goes well, they'll have a certificate of occupancy, or at least a conditional certificate, I would think. Things are moving along quite well there. So we expect that will be happening soon. We attended today the Akron section of APA's Healthy Communities. We will be scheduling with the Akron APA a Healthy Communities Safe Routes to School initiative involving the school district. That'll happen in about 2 weeks. GPD's making progress on the Central Area Roadway Analysis, and we have a progress meeting scheduled for November 23rd. And our next CIC meeting is, as was mentioned earlier, scheduled for November 19th at 7:30 a.m. at 9833 Ravenna Road. That's it.
Larry, I got a question. You mentioned that you would be seeking letters from the schools and the chamber, et cetera.
Yes.
What kind of letters? are you-
Letters of support for to go along with the asbestos mitigation request.
Meaning what?
It's a letter supporting the elimination of the hazard of the asbestos at a property in central Twinsburg, basically.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other reports this evening? Okay, I just have 2 other quick announcements. I did want to mention that we do have appointments coming up. And if you're interested in serving on any of our boards and commissions, now's the time to find out what's available. The request for appointments must be received by Friday, December 18th. So you have until then to submit a letter of interest. You can go on our website and see which boards and commissions have positions and what wards they're in. Some of them are ward-specific, but we have openings on the Board of Zoning Appeals, Capital Improvements, Environmental Commission, Glen Eagles Advisory Board, Parks and Recreation Planning Commission. So please check that out. And the other thing that I would like to say is I would like to congratulate and welcome the newest member of our police department, Officer Joe Burdett, who I swore in earlier today. And we're delighted to have Joe on board and wish him a long, healthy, successful career here in our police department, one of the best police departments in the country. And we're very happy to have him with us. So good luck, Joe Burdett. That's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We're going to move to legislation next and start with Ordinance 117, 2015.
An ordinance creating Chapter 182 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Twinsburg, establishing a municipal income tax ordinance to become effective January 1st, 2016.
I make a motion that we adopt Ordinance 117, 2015. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Yates seconds. Discussion. This is an ordinance that will mirror House Bill 5 and make our collections unified to the state program for income tax. Are there any other discussion? Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Fury,
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Ordinance 117, 2015 passes 7-0. Ordinance 132, 2015.
An ordinance amending Section 1148.20 of the Twinsburg Zoning and Development Regulations establishing architectural design standards in the C5 Mixed Residence Business District as recommended by the Planning Commission.
This stands on its second reading and will be addressed at our next council meeting, as well as there'll be a public hearing regarding the building standards. Ordinance 137, 2015.
An ordinance amending the current year appropriations for the various special revenue accounts as established in Ordinance 24, 2015, the appropriation ordinance of the City of Twinsburg for the year 2015, and declaring an emergency.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we place Ordinance 137, 2015 on its third and final reading and declare it an emergency. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Stoffer seconds the emergency. Discussion on the emergency? Purpose of the emergency is that this is a housekeeping to move some funds, grant funds from police and golf course around, and just rectify our accounting in a timely manner. Would you call the roll for the, excuse me, Ms. House?
And also, there's a secondary one to that, the golf course, there's a contract, that's the one we were talking about.
Okay.
It's under the same
I
one.
thought I said golf course also.
You did.
Did you?
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's all right, no worries. We're good. Shannon, would you call the roll for the emergency, please?
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Okay, the emergency passes 7-0. Now I'd like to adopt as an emergency Ordinance 137, 2015. Is there a second?
Go ahead.
One second.
Mr. Sorese seconds. Any further discussion? Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Ordinance 137, 2015 passes 7-0 as an emergency. Resolution 138, 2015.
A resolution acknowledging council's receipt and review of the monthly financial statements submitted by the Finance Department for July through October 2015.
Make a motion that we adopt Resolution 138, 2015. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Yates seconds. Any discussion? This is a standard acknowledgement that we've received the quarterly financials for the city. Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Resolution 138, 2015 passes 7-0. Ordinance 139, 2015.
An ordinance accepting the bid of Lincoln Allen Construction for the ancillary city buildings construction project and declaring an emergency.
Make a motion that we place Ordinance 139, 2015 on its third and final reading, declaring it an emergency. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Scafidi seconds the emergency. Discussion on the emergency. The purpose for the emergency is these are two capital projects for service. One is a four-bay garage at the Stone House over on Liberty Park, and the other is a pole building over by Chamberlain. The purpose of the emergency is to award the bid of Lincoln Allen Construction. Call the roll for the emergency, please.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
The emergency for Ordinance 139, 2015 passes 7-0. Now I'd like to adopt as an emergency Ordinance 139, 2015 as an emergency. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Yates seconds. Any discussion?
I'll be recusing myself from this. I know this person.
Okay. These also passed through ARB and planning without any challenges. Anything else? Shannon, would you call the roll?
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mr. Sorese?
I recuse myself.
Okay, Ordinance 139, 2015 passes 6-0 as an emergency. Resolution 140, 2015.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Village of Reminderville to provide certain police and fire dispatching services.
I make a motion that we adopt Resolution 140, 2015. Is there a second? Mr. McDermott seconds. Discussion.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I'm also on the payroll of the Village of Reminderville, so I will be recusing myself from this.
Thank you, Mr. Scafidi. Mayor?
I was just going to mention that this is a one-year extension of their contract, renewal of their contract, and 10% increase. We're going to be evaluating operations at the dispatch center, so that's why we're going with the 1 year.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
I recuse myself.
Resolution 140, 2015 passes 6-0. Resolution 141, 2015.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement pursuant to Section 5521.01 of the Ohio Revised Code with the Ohio Department of Transportation to allow work on the state highways within the City of Twinsburg Corporation limits.
I make a motion that we adopt Resolution 141, 2015. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Sorese seconds. Discussion?
This is our agreement for the sound installation of the sound walls.
Any further discussion? Shannon, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Sorese?
Yes.
Mr. Yates?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Roden?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Resolution 141, 2015 passes 7-0. Ordinance 142, 2015.
An ordinance levying special assessments for the cost of improving Chamberlain Road between certain termini by constructing sanitary sewers together with necessary appurtenances.
Okay, this is the second reading on this. So
First.
it's the
reading.
first.
First
Okay.
reading.
All right. So we'll take action in December and read it again at our next council meeting. And that completes our legislation for this evening. Next, we'll move to unfinished business, new business, and miscellaneous. Mrs. Stoffer.
I would just like to thank our veterans also. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Sorese.
Nothing this evening, thanks.
Mr. Roden.
I have nothing this evening.
Mr. McDermott.
I have nothing this evening.
Mr. Yates.
Yeah, I just would like to make a few comments. I was holding my congratulations till the end, so I just want to congratulate Mr. Fury, Mr. Scafidi on retaining their seats, and also like to welcome Brian Steele and Joanne McFerrin, and thank the voters for coming out. It was a big turnout, and just putting their trust in me to lead this community for the next 4 years. It's a very exciting time for Twinsburg and for myself, and I'm anxious to get started, and just really looking forward to this big change in my life and in this city. So just thank everyone. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Scafidi.
I have nothing further tonight, thank you.
Mayor.
Again, I would just like to thank our veterans for their service. Not a day goes by that I think most of us don't think about them and what they sacrifice for our entire country, for our freedoms. The men and women that dedicate their lives to the military just always amazes me. So thank you to them. And I'd also like to thank our local veterans for their contributions to our community. They volunteer their services. They conduct many of the events here in the city of Twinsburg, and we appreciate their contributions to our community. So thank you to all of the veterans.
Mr. Maestros.
Nothing additional, Mr. Fury, thanks.
Shannon.
Nothing, thank you.
Ms. House.
Nothing, thank you.
Okay. I would also like to congratulate Mr. Yates, Mr. Scafidi, Mr. Steele, and Joanne McFerrin. I had that note to do, but I got so excited about the Marine Corps birthday, I just skipped right over it. So, congratulations. I look forward to working with you. This is the last time of the year that we're displaying flags throughout the city with the Parade of Flags program. This is a program for about $25 a year. You can get a flag delivered by the Boy Scouts, presented in your yard for Memorial Day, Flag Day, Independence Day, Patriots Day, and Veterans Day. Applications are in the lobby. If you can call City Hall and get one. Mark Katowski is the one that brought this to us, I think from Worcester possibly. And I've seen it in action there as I followed my son to a golf tournament this year. It's just it looks really cool to see American flags all over the city of Twinsburg, and I hope we can expand upon this program. And with that, I would like to, this is our 261st council meeting together, Mayor. We only have one left for you and Mr. McDermott. So I look forward to sending you off on a high note next week, or 2 weeks from now.
Wow, I wonder how many it is. 1991 is when I was elected to council, so I'll have to figure out how many council meetings that is.
Kathy, I can have that number for you before we leave. So.
All right, sounds good.
All right. With that, I'd like to adjourn tonight's council meeting, and thank you very much.